Hi everyone, Dan Rather. We're at the end of a series of interviews done in a hotel in downtown Manhattan. Thought we'd use the extra time and space to talk inside journalism, or at least real, hard news as we practice it. Dan Rather reports on HDNet. With me is Sari Aviv, one of our most productive, really talented reporter, producers, writers. And Sari has brought us into a series of reports about education, and not just American education. One of those reports took us, and hopefully took the viewers, to Finland. Finland, some surprise, has what is rated the best education system in the world, as judged by global tests of students. Sari, tell me, how did you get on this story about Finland?
Well, I came to it when we were finishing up our reporting on Detroit, and we were looking for answers, and we were asking a lot of people, what can we do to solve the crisis in American education? I started to hear about Finland, and I saw they were at the top of the education charts. But what was fascinating about Finland was that they seemed to be doing exactly the opposite of what all the reformers in the United States were calling for. The schools just felt like very happy places. The students generally did not seem stressed out, and you saw very little disrespect. I mean, the students really respected their teachers, but at the same time, it was a very informal environment.
Well, then the school day is shorter there, isn't it? Much shorter.
That's one of the interesting things. So in the United States, we're saying that in order to improve education, we really have to make the school day longer, the school year longer. In Finland, they go to school for the fewest hours in the developed world. I mean, elementary school students sometimes go for as few as 4 hours a day. And not only that, they don't really have homework. They have 30 minutes of homework a night.
Yet, on the worldwide test, they score the highest.
Right, so clearly it has to do with the way that they're being taught, or the way that they're absorbing the information in class.
You know, I'm interested in knowing whether you see it this way, that we did a piece about Singapore. Singapore, which also scores very high with their students on the world testing. We did Singapore and Finland to contrast the two, saying, listen, both of these school systems are fantastically successful, but they do have different approaches. And correct me if I'm wrong, what we tried to do is have people, at least in their own minds, extrapolate from this, what can we learn from others about their educational systems that will help us with ours? Because true that for a long time, others looked to the United States as the model school system. But now, in the early stages of the 21st century, we're looking elsewhere.
So I think the number one lesson that we could take from Singapore and Finland is the way that they think of teachers and the way that they train teachers. Teachers in those countries are thought of on the same level as doctors or lawyers. Teaching is not a fallback career there, and teachers are very highly trained. In Finland, they actually all have master's degrees. It's a requirement. And it's interesting because we really struggle in the United States, I think, to draw the best and the brightest. And I think part of that is because we don't value teaching enough. You know, and we have programs like Teach for America and Teaching Fellows and these wonderful programs that draw in fantastic recent college graduates into education. But they're going into the classroom basically with a few weeks of training. And in Singapore and Finland, that would be unheard of. I mean, they come in with you know, years of experience in the classroom.
And specially trained.
Specially trained teachers, right? But they're not viewing it as a short commitment. They're saying, this is my career, and I'm in it for the long haul. And I think that's a very different way of looking at teaching.
Well, Sari, we're repeating the Finland piece. I know you're working on other stories about education, including one about special education. So we look forward to seeing them. Thanks.
If you've got it, watch it. If you don't, call your TV provider to get HDNet today.